in their profession and still rebound from it? Anybody know? Anybody? Go ahead, Dave.
My dad.
Okay.
He has his own, he's a contractor.
Yep.
We cut a lot.
Yeah.
We cut a lot.
Well, it's going to happen. Go ahead.
Well, I failed. I thought I was going to lose my job a few years back. But it kind of makes you stronger going through the...
It does. Anybody else? Go ahead.
Both me and my dad.
Okay.
My dad owns a glass business, and when it started, it was going to we were cutting yards. Then, a few years ago, lost a lot of clients. But it's, this big deal. He's still in the glass cutting business, but we're starting from the bottom to raise ourselves up. And I failed at 2 previous jobs, but I got me a better job now, and I'm interested.
That's great. That's great. And again, don't be afraid to fail, especially young. Don't be afraid to fail. I'm 45 years old, and I'm not afraid to fail right now. I've embraced it. Change is, and we'll talk about that in a minute too, but you've got to embrace change. How about Donald Trump? Anybody know how many times he's went belly up? I mean, honestly, that dude's got so much money. He could walk in here and go, "Hey, I want that campus back." I mean, honestly, he's got tons of jack, but he fails. He's been in Chapter 11. He's made so many dumb mistakes, but guess what? He's not afraid. He's not afraid to fail. And I mean, everybody looks at money man, Donald Trump. I mean, first person I think of when I'm thinking, well, Bill Gates too, but you know what I'm saying. But Donald Trump pops in my mind. You're fired. That kind of thing. Anyway,
Mike, can I ask you a question on something you mentioned?
Yeah.
Talking about the gifts, people wanting tickets and money and this, that, and the other. It's kind of a fine line, right? You don't give a gift to get the business, but sometimes you do give people tickets.
Thank you very much. Now, here's the deal. I've got season tickets for the Braves games. I got season tickets for the Falcons football. If anybody wants a ticket to the Braves game, I'm all over. Besides you, Dad, you know. But if they're a customer, I'm all over it. I mean, that's some of the perks of business. Have I taken gifts? Absolutely. Somebody gives me Braves tickets in the box at the Delta box, I'm there. But if somebody says, "Hey, here's a new phone. Here's $500 cash," I'm not going to take it. I'm not going to deal with it. But absolutely, there is a fine line. Lunches, dinners. A lot of times, back in the day when I started in the sales cycle, you were supposed to take your customers to dinner frequently. I mean, that was business practices. Now, it's kind of frowned on. Here's why. It's not because anything weird. It's just families get in the way now, which is a good thing. Families take priority, and people are so busy with life. All of us are busy. And I mean, you just wait. So those days are somewhat over. Lunches are pro. So I take a customer lunch almost every day. Almost every day when I'm out seeing customers. I love taking customers lunch because and by the way, you don't have to talk business until you hang out. But here's the deal. If you're hanging out, talking about baseball, talking about school, whatever the situation is, at the end of the meeting or at some point, hey, what else can I do for you? Know as many people as you can in an account or with a company. Because if she leaves, goes somewhere else, and David takes her place, and I knew David he was working on a warehouse dock, and all of a sudden he's the #1 man. Guess what? I was still in. If I didn't know David, David's got to do a agenda. He comes in and goes, "I'm going to use somebody else. I don't know this guy. This guy, all he's done is focus on this young man." So, anyway, sorry I'm picking on you all that.
Mike, can I ask you another question?
Please.
Going back, you talked about you were in a bad situation at one time and you left. Can you advise these students if they see themselves down that slippery slope? Can you give them some advice on when to,
Definitely make some calculated decisions. I mean, definitely take it under advisement. If you see some things that are really trending the wrong way in a company or are going the wrong way, that's a good time. And just ask management. They may not tell you. I've seen that a lot. You know, they go, oh yeah, everything's great. But act on your own. You know, do research. Find out as much as you can about that company, and then make a calculated decision on that. And you're gonna see that over time. Every company's not perfect, you know. And if you work for one company all your life, that's fantastic, but it usually doesn't happen. You're usually gonna work at a couple of different companies, and hopefully you're gonna staircase just like I have. You know, kind of come straight up. And who knows, I might get to here and then come back down here. 45, I got plenty of time to do that, unfortunately. I said take risks, embrace change, and don't be scared. I heard, anybody watch Moneyball, the movie Moneyball? Anybody ever seen it? I saw it last night. Anybody watch it last night? It was on last night. All right, great quote. Adapt or die. That was Billy Beane. Billy Beane was the Oakland A's GM. He said adapt or die, and that is absolutely right. Adapt or die in business world. If you're not ready for change, you better be if you're a business owner. I'm telling you, and this is the biggest part of my spiel right here, change is inevitable. You will need to change and adapt to the times and the trends. If you're not ready and you don't like change, get ready for it. You know, a lot of people are set in their ways. The company I was originally talking about, Hassett Air Express, great company. I was there 15 years. I loved it. I was there when it was a $72 million company, and today it's a $22 million company. Why? Because they did not change. They would not come into the future. They wanted to do pretty material business, and we're great at it, and we're going to set ourselves in this box, and if you fit in this box, we are your company. Don't do it. You can't do that. You've got to change. You've got to adapt and go with the way your customers are. Let customers tell you what they need and adapt to it, if you possibly can. Let your customers tell you what they want. Sure. But you want to be an advocate of your customers and let them tell you what they need. That's how I've gotten to where I'm at. If I stayed in that air freight bubble, we would be a 4-person $1 million company. People want all kind of different things. I listen to it, take it under advisement, see if we can do it, and if we can, by God, we're going to. If we can do it well. Got 3 more things and now I'm done. So I'm going to try to get out of here. I've been speaking up here a long time. Coming from the top or from the bottom of the heat. And I mean, the bottom was on the dock, working, you know, throwing mail bags, making $8 an hour, and happy doing it, by the way. To where I'm at now has been instrumental in my success. So touch and feel every place you can in a business. Do everything you can at your place of business to learn the business and be great at it. Not good, great at it. I don't care if you're sweeping the floor. I don't care what you're doing. Be great at it. By the way, if somebody sees you being great at sweeping the floor, you're going to be doing the next step, and then the next step, and then the next step. So that's the way it is. Research and advice is very instrumental in what you're doing too. Research what you want to do, and again, research what companies you want to find, and then go for it. Last one is, and I'm going to just be straight on this, without God's blessing and my faith in Him, all this wouldn't have been possible. So, you know, just have faith in yourself. Get up there and go get them. Do not be scared of failing, and do not be scared to make changes. Because if you don't change, you're going to sit and you're going to be a Hassett Air Express. Great company, but do they want to be a $75 million company, or do they want to be a $22 million company? Okay. Questions now, please.
Do you think like if it was to go, I guess the goal in the field that's something that you like, or just if, you know, go to something that's going to make you money and then you do something that you like on the side?
That's a great question. I just interviewed a guy, a friend of mine, the other day. He knows the relocation business, and he knows it really, really well. And he can make a lot of money doing it. He can make a lot of money doing it. Well, he came to me and said, I love what your ideals, You remember Joey came in the other day, and really wanted to do something different. However, you got to wait a two, because I can only get him to sew. He's got to learn the business now. He's 35. So, is he too old? Absolutely not. But he's going to have to learn my business all from ground zero, basically. He knows his relocation. I would say, do what you like. You only get to go around once. Now, again, if you fail at it, go to what you know. So that's my personal opinion on it. It's going to be up to you, though, to make those decisions. So if you've got, a career in, modeling against, and you love modeling, but you know you're good at design, you're going to have some real hard thoughts there. But do what you love at a young age. Now, at 50, you're going to have to take what you got. That kind of at that point, a lot of times, because you're becoming I'm kind of still the middle of my money-making years. Money-making years, by the way, 35 to 47 probably. That's your money-making year. Go make your money. Probably to 50. And then at 50, you're still making money. But at 60 years old, you've got to start thinking about other things on the way to get out and retire or move to a different situation. It might be still in the same thing. So, anyway. Next, anybody else? Go ahead.
I'm here with my associates in business administration.
Okay.
My transfer to another college, I'm still debating on what I would want to get my bachelor's in, because right now I'm just going to flow with the wind taking me where I go. Now I found myself let's say I got myself a lot of hobbies. Let's say I get out there and I decide to open up my own business. Is it possible that I can use my hobbies also to help me invest in businesses, say something like skydiving or traveling or like just doing stuff for fun and for business?
Perfect example. Here's the deal. Again, I have two ventures, right? I have the real estate. My third one that I want to start up is a sports facility. And what I want out of that sports facility is I want a baseball field and I want a training facility for young athletes. Okay, that's my passion. Now again, unfortunately, I have two children that are in high school or middle school and high school right now, and one in college. Very tough to juggle all. If I could do it, I'd do it in a heartbeat, because that's my love. My love is playing baseball, playing sports, announcing, things like that. But I love what I do here too. So I don't know how I could do both, but I'm going to tell you, you can absolutely take what you love or a hobby and turn it into, and by the way, look at people, skydiving. They do skydiving now. They have people that train you in skydiving now. 10 years ago, that was never heard of. 15 years ago, whatever. People are like, are you crazy? Like now, we're in a life of, fear factor. Oh man, I want to try something new. So, yes, if you do something with your hobby, something you love, by the way, you're going to be doing this a long time. I love what I do. I've been doing it 24 years. But love what you do. Because if you don't, it's just a job. It's just a job. And too many people in our community are stuck with just a job. So, yeah, good question. Hopefully I helped you.
Another question.
Yeah.
Have you ever had to fire anybody?
Absolutely. Matter of fact, I am not that guy. I have people that I like to do that for me, but I've had to fire, 20 people in my time period, and it is the toughest thing. I'm not that guy. I'm not good at that. I would love to be a rah-rah guy, but as I get older, and I know this sounds kind of bad, but it gets easier, because it just comes to a certain situation where it's very matter of fact. You're not performing for whatever reason, and we have to make another. We have to do what's best for our company. Otherwise, I'm putting other people are suffering for what's going on. Just had to let a guy go before David came on, matter of fact. And he had been in the industry longer than I had. Been in the industry 35 years, but he got stale and stuff. And I just said, hey, it's time to move on. So absolutely, you're going to have to fire people. You're going to have to hire people. It's not, it doesn't have to be fun, but it's necessary. Again, profits, what keep you going in business. It's a part. Next.
What kind of business-related organizations or clubs do you join or frequent, and how do you think they help your business?
You know what, that's a great question. Chamber of Commerce in your location. I'm with the Atlanta Cargo Association, and I'm also another ground trucking organization. So I'm with 3 organizations. We get together in the community. It doesn't do a whole lot, but it does keep me informed of who might be looking for an opportunity out there. So there are very good things that come out of it. Unfortunately, usually it's not where I get a customer out of that, but sometimes it is. Let me go back. We're a freight forwarder that does domestic transportation. So we do a lot of ground and air freight domestically around the U.S. But I also talk to a lot of international forwarders who do their own international transportation. Well, once the freight gets over here, what happens? How do they get there? That's me. So we have 30 international freight forwarders using us. So I go out to these international communities. Hey, here's who I am, and that's how we picked up all this. So there are chances to definitely work in the community and make that work for you. Chamber of Commerce never done anything for me so far, but it is a good possibility. Go ahead.
You said originally that you started off with a business partner.
Yes.
Did you all fill out like contractual agreements?
Yes.
And how did you all deal with it if, as far as business partners, you might have a different idea as opposed to your partner?
You know what? That's a good question. 20 years ago, I met a guy named Chris Fisher, and I couldn't stand him. I got into business with him. He came from Memphis. He was an old redneck country boy from Memphis. And I thought he was probably the dumbest person I'd ever met. And I trained him reluctantly to kind of take my position eventually. And by the time I had known him a year, we had the same ideals. We had the same values, same aspirations and dreams. I've known him 20 years now, and he's not only my best friend, which is weird in business, but he is my partner. And we think, don't you tell him that, but, and he really is. He would go to bat for me, and I would go to bat for him in any circumstance. You've got to have each other's back no matter what. We have disagreements. It's usually me yelling at him, but then there are some other ways. But we do have disagreements, which you're going to have. It's like a marriage at that point. You got to work through it. And that's very tough to have a friend in your business relationship. But it works. It really does with this situation. But we are on the same page 99.9% of the time. You'd be surprised how alike we are with business decisions. So, and we confer about almost everything.
In starting up your businesses, did you find that it was better to be hands-on in every compartment, or to hire on people to do things that you maybe not have had the most experience?
Yeah, I love that. You know what? I like to delve into everything and know everything about the company. Now I know nothing. I still can get by and do a lot of operational and sales things, of course, but I'm doing so much administration that's kind of by the wayside. But absolutely know as much as you can. Now, hiring people. Sometimes you hire experience, and experience works for you. Sometimes you hire experience and you go, they're kind of dead wood. They've been doing, they're kind of set in place. That's why people like David and a new hire we got, Heather, they're new, young, vibrant people who really are blank. They're just a blank slate. Hey, I'm here to learn. And I love that because we can train them, hopefully the best way we can, make them better and also make them better for us. So all kinds of, that's a good question, but there's all kinds of ways to do it. David.
Last question.
What's the difference between starting a franchise and your own business, and why would you choose the franchise over starting your own?
That's a great question. I was going to get into that, but I'm glad you asked. I'll get into that now. Franchise. Franchise, the company Airgroup is a $330 million company. Okay? They're a monster company. They have 100 different offices in the U.S. and Canada. All right? Why would I do that? And I have to give them a percentage of my money. So why? Well, you get all kind of caveats there. First thing is you get their buy rates in the industry. So if I want to ship on, if you call me today and you said, hey, I want you to ship a package to LA and it's got to be there tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock, I wouldn't use my own truck to get it there. I would use Delta Airlines or an airline to do that. Well, they have rates in place that are better than what I can get myself. They also are my capital. No matter what, at the end of the week, I put in, I say, hey, here's all the money that I'm billing out for the week. Friday, boom, I've got a check for that money, for the profits of that money. They collect my money for me. So if I've got a customer going, 60 days is about 30 to 60 days is about when we try to get our money in. I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to worry about collecting. They do. So there's so many things that they add to the equation. We had to definitely say, our own business, doing our own thing, and getting our own relationships, which I have a lot of those, or using a company that can do that for me. We had to weigh the pros and cons. We had a list of about 100 of each, and the pros for the franchise way outweigh. Now, it's not like that everywhere. Chick-fil-A franchise, you have to buy into. I didn't have to buy in a penny, but they do take proceeds every month or every week. So, you know, you've got to measure both out. For me, 4 years into it, definitely the best way. Anybody else? Before we get out?
I want to ask a question. When you took the trucking business, I have a friend girl, she operating trucking business where she was like dispatching and all that stuff. But the lady that she worked for, she, the clients or whatever, they didn't pay her, so she wound up like losing like her house, but she had to wind up paying, like, she had to wind up paying, because she's with a bank, well, she has her own company, and she wound up losing money because they front her the money.
Right.
And she wound up, that company did not pay at a certain time, so she had to wind up paying the bank back, so she wound up, had to sell her house and all that stuff, well, she's still in the business. But isn't there a way to where, I guess you can detect, like, if a company is going to start going under?
Absolutely.
Or, you know what I'm saying?
But sometimes you really don't. But you watch trends. That's another thing with the franchise. Perfect example is we have companies that start to sink back down, especially with the economy the way it is. And all of a sudden I'll get an update. Hey, this company went from paying their bills in 30 days to 60 days to 90 days, and their credit is bad. Then it's on me. Should I keep that company? Or should I let them go? And sometimes you got to make those decisions. We have a coffer in the bank of $50,000 at all times, which means it sits in Airgroup, in corporate office of my corporation. Now I can pull that any time, but if I do have an account that goes bad, they take that right out of there. So I don't feel it. It's sitting there. It's my money, but I don't have to feel that thing. So that's why those situations are very good. When that streamline thing happened, they told me. They said, hey, Athlete's Foot went under Chapter 11 10 years ago, and I didn't find out about it. I lost $40,000. Okay. But I found out, but it was just too late. The guy called me and said, do not take any orders. So, who knew Athlete's Foot was going to go through a hard time? Big corporation. So, anyway, good question.
Kind of piggyback on the previous question. For the future business owners here and undecided majors,
Right.
what would you say is the most important major in starting on this market?
Me personally, that's my thought on it. I mean, there's all kind of things you could be involved but for me, you're asking me, so I'm gonna tell you what it is for me, it was marketing. Because I learned so much about what to do and what not to do, that I was just, that was the number one for me. Go ahead, Dave.
Does your company have a tuition reimbursement program?
No.
Mike, how many hours a week do you work?
That's a great question. Back in the day, I worked 80 hours a week, and I did that for years. Now, that was before I started my company. Don't ask me how, because most business owners work more when they started. I've got very good people, and I work about 45 to 50.
Wow.
So it's really gotten better. But I think I've set myself up well enough to have the right people in place, where we do have a 24-hour situation where I don't have to. And Chris is the guy that works hard now. He's my right hand. He's the business owner, and he gets the brunt of it because he's the operations guy. So I did that first. Any other questions? Go ahead. It's an Inc. It's an S corp, so I guess that's what you're talking. But it's a transportation company, transportation and logistics.
And what is that? What is transportation?
All forms of trucking, air freight, you name it. You get freight from one place to another.
What is freight?
Anything. You tell me, David, what is freight?
Freight is everything. Everything tangible is freight.
That's true. I mean, it could be this desk. It could be these bottles of water. Anything could be freight. When I drive up on a new customer's dock, it could be absolutely anything, if they have a dock. I look for all kinds of. Well, thank you guys for letting me speak today.
Thank you.
If I can ever do anything for you, please let me know. But it's my pleasure. I don't get to do. I've never done this before. I usually speak to 4th and 5th graders.